Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cop Ultras, a podcast show. I'm your host, Poovan, and we are actually back with shocking news. I was actually about to uh, upload my record and upload a first episode whereby I'll be explaining about Fabinho's replacement, who are the targets that we are targeting right now, the whole Romeo Lavia situation, and also now currently we are actually hijacking Chelsea in terms of bidding for another DM who most of you guys probably have known. It's Moises Caicedo. So that is actually something shocking is going on right now. So as of now, as I can see on my phone right now, um, Fabrizio Romano has posted on Instagram saying, breaking news, Moises Caicedo is set to join Liverpool on Friday after a historical late night bid. So actually this bid happened last night. Liverpool have submitted an official bid for 110 million package fee overnight on the and the agreement is now completed. So um, looking at the current situation right now, Liverpool have actually agreed to a deal with Brighton and Hove Albion for the fee amounting to 110 million for Moises Caicedo. So it's actually kind of like a shocker to me and to every other fans. I know you guys are kind of like in a shock mode right now because I think about 2 months back we actually targeted Moises Caicedo, and then looking at the fee for Moises Caicedo last season with the way that he performed, Brighton have valued him for about 100 million, which is kind of a lot. Looking at the valuation for the player, I think the Liverpool transfer committee have said, look, there are so many other defensive midfielders out there that we can look for, other DMs. Um, so they kind of like dodged Caicedo. They said Caicedo is not in the list of potential transfer targets for Jurgen Klopp or for Liverpool per se. So this whole thing, I'll be actually coming down with the whole chronological order of actually what has been happening. So this morning I actually woke up. I actually saw like the last 24 hours whereby Chelsea were bidding for Lavia last night, and then they bid for Romeo Lavia for 45 million. It got rejected. Uh, as what Southampton have been doing to us for the last four bids. So we had our fourth bid rejected for Lavia as well. I actually wanted to speak about this in my first ever podcast show. I mean the podcast episode. So it did. I was about to do some editing on it and upload it today so that you guys can have a watch and all that. But having a good sleep and then waking up in the morning, waking up to this whole shock incident that's been happening. Even last night, it was kind of like a shocker because we've been targeting Lavia for almost about a month now, and to have three bids rejected, it says a lot about Liverpool's transfer committee right now. Because to be really honest, I've been enjoying the whole transfer window that's been happening, all the crazy stuff that's been happening in the other leagues with other players as well, even with our club. We made two fantastic signings with Dominic Soboslai and Alexis McAllister, who is from Brighton as well. Both were fantastic signings, good valuations, and for us to get a player like Alexis McAllister and Soboslai to Liverpool with the valuation that has been set for them was like, I think 30 to 40 million for McAllister and about 50 million for Soboslai. I think that was like a pretty good deal. And these guys are like proven league players for club and country. Alexis McAllister played in the World Cup, won the World Cup. Soboslai, who's the captain for his Hungarian national team. So these guys are really good players. So what happened in the morning, I think morning in the UK. So what happened was Liverpool have actually inquired about Caicedo, but the whole inquiring about Caicedo actually is more on due diligence. So I think what they are trying to say is that we've had three bids rejected for Lavia. So now since the fourth bid is now being rejected, so what they've done is that they've inquired to Brighton about Moises Caicedo, but it's not about getting Caicedo or bidding for Caicedo in such a manner whereby we'll be making a shock bid. So initially, that's what I was thinking. So it's just an enquiry. So far, what Melissa Reddy has posted on Twitter is that both Liverpool and Brighton are confirming that there has been no formal bid yet for Moises Caicedo. However, contact between the clubs illustrate a willingness to discuss a fee and agree a deal if it's there to be done. Players' preference of destination is important. So, um, looking at Moises Caicedo's situation in Brighton, obviously he's looking for a move away from Brighton. Definitely not to continue playing for Brighton in the new season. Looking for a way out. Definitely want to play European football. That is his aim. Um, his preference is definitely Chelsea. Second could be us. We never know what is going on. But uh, this whole update from Melissa Reddy, I think it's kind of like us saying that should Romeo Lavia not materialize with Southampton while having third bid and the fourth bid, which is upcoming to being rejected, says a lot about the desperation that's happening in our club right now in terms of transfer business is being concerned. Um, a lot of things don't add up to what Liverpool are trying to do at the moment. It's actually crazy to actually think that we are only bidding 45 million for Lavia when his valuation is actually 50 million. And I understand totally the fact that we are not bidding for Romeo Lavia for 50 million. I mean, the whole discrepancy is only like just the difference is just 5 million. We have money in our transfer budget. It's not that we don't. We did sell off a hefty amount of players. Yes, some of them did leave on a free, not that they didn't. But we did manage to recoup some money with the selling of Fabinho, with the selling of Henderson, and stuff like that. So all I'm asking is what is so significant about the difference of the 5 million that you guys are so reluctant to actually uh, pay for a player like Romeo Lavia, which you have been targeting for very long. You had the first bid, which was about 40 million, they rejected. You added up to 45 million, and then now you went to 48 million. I'm not sure whether if it's 45, 44, somewhere around there for the second bid. Then the third bid came up to about 48 million. It's actually mad to think that there's this whole discrepancy with the whole 5 million thing that it doesn't really add up at all. I don't understand what's happening. So it still comes down to the asking price of Southampton. So um Liverpool actually have abundance of money, if you really ask me. And it's the most unusual summer transfer window ever that Liverpool have ever been involved in, to actually be involved in this whole saga. We had this whole thing happen with Jude Bellingham where we were eyeballing him for the whole of last season, and to actually Jude Bellingham say that he was choosing Real Madrid over Liverpool. It's not only about that we backed out of it, but it was actually the asking price. But if you actually look at the whole transfer market window, the whole transfer market, the whole valuation of players right now, for a youngster who has just popped up into the scene, just for one season, has 29 caps. His valuation is up to 50 million. So that is how unusual and unique the transfer market is right now. It's very crazy for a young player to be valued for 50 million, and for a young proven player to go to skyrocket up to 100 over million, 150 million. I'm not talking about just like the Messis that were there, the Neymars, the Kylian Mbappes, but I'm talking about players like Jude Bellingham, who are still very, very young. And for them to get 100 million price tag, that is crazy mad. That is madness. Absolute madness, I tell you. So, it all, end of the day, comes down to what LFC have in terms of a bigger plan. Since this whole messed up situation where we have been targeting Lavia for the whole of last month till today, till this month, to date, we have been targeting Lavia, and for Chelsea to actually have bids rejected as well for Moises Caicedo, to have a whole cross bidding whereby uh, Chelsea have suddenly swooped in for uh, they have jumped ship and they've come in and targeted Romeo Lavia for 45 million, and having that bid rejected itself. says a lot about what Chelsea are also trying to do as well. It all boils down to what uh, it's happening. It's kind of clumsy. Uh, really, to be honest, it's actually very clumsy in the part of Liverpool because we do know that there is a significant hole in the DM position. A lot of the players we have in midfield are midfielders who are not defensive midfielders at all. You have the likes of Thiago, Curtis Jones. Bajcetic is the only DM there who is still unproven, has a lot of ways to go, a long way to go for him to be developed into a really good DM. A lot of the players that we have are all solid box to box midfielders, holding midfielders, but they are not DM. So I don't even want to put Thiago into a DM position because that's not his strong suit. He's good in a double pivot role. He's good in a central midfield box to box position, but for him to play as a number six, as a DM, highly unlikely. But he would be good if he can play in a double pivot role with another midfielder holding down the midfield line. So in order to spray passes to our front line. Uh, so guys, another thing that we also have to discuss is kind of like the big question that I want to ask. Why are Chelsea not bidding 50 million for uh, Lavia? Uh, I mean, it's actually a genuine question, to be honest, because we bid for 45, it got rejected. So you then jump in and you say you want Lavia for 45 million, and it gets rejected as well. So what is the mind game that they are trying to play? It's very crazy. It's a very weird thing to be sitting down here as a Liverpool fan wondering what the hell is actually going on. For us to have constant updates on all these crazy situations is actually borderline madness. It's borderline madness and it's borderline clumsy from Liverpool's end because you do know you shot yourself in the foot when you sold off Fabinho and Henderson. For us to sell them off and then for us to not, buy anyone, we are actually losing the bargaining position because you have just sold Fabinho and Henderson without any backup plan. You say you want to bid for Lavia. You could have just chipped in 50 million and you could have just got him. You don't have to play the cat and mouse game with Southampton, who are desperately in need of revenue and money in the championship because the championship has already begun and we still have few days left before the season starts and we still don't have a proper DM right now. Who are we going to rely on? So that is very mad. That's crazy to actually think about. It's very crazy to actually think about this whole unusual situation because usually when Liverpool does a transfer business, they usually do it at the beginning of the transfer window. They don't do it desperately at the end like this or even before the season starts because in my opinion um, the transfer window has two kind of like hard deadlines. It's either the beginning of the season or it's at the end of the summer transfer window. So these are the two deadlines kind of thing that they have to follow. So for them to not follow like this and to be so desperate as to uh, chasing Moises Caicedo at the very last minute right now, before we are 2 days, 3 days away from the season beginning and against Chelsea. So that is actually uh, a lot of mind games are going on, and you know a lot of teams know that they can get Navia for 50 million, but then uh, you know the main question is, do Chelsea really want Lavia? Because they have actually recently signed Tyler Adams from Leeds United. Really, to be absolutely really honest, I think that there is a game played here between Chelsea and Liverpool. Um, usually when you try to play hardball against a club with and bid a low valuation for the player, chances are that a club says no. So even if they say yes, your job as a director of football in a specific club, you have actually smashed it off the park. You have exceeded expectations whenever you pay less to get a high rated player, then you have actually done a fantastic job. um, like Michael Edwards, when he was in Liverpool, he actually did fantastic in that term. When he was with Liverpool, he would usually get good players at good valuations. He won't go higher than what is being valued. So even when he's selling players, he would go like, look, when someone wants to buy our players, he would go right, look, that here's our player. This is how much appearance he has made. Here's the goals he scored. He's featured in all these club competitions. This is how many games he's played for his national team. These are all the accolades that he has won. Looking at the current transfer market, this is how much we would value him. So look here, this is how much is his value. So that's how Michael Edwards goes. So usually, if a director of football follows that path, um, then you are a very successful director of football. So that's what Michael Edwards is good at. And Julian Ward as well, he was very, very good. So now the current transfer committee, without these two guys, I think for them trying to play hardball, it's it's looking very pathetic at the moment. Um, so a lot of questions being asked, a lot of things that we need answers for that we can't get. So this is kind of like what's happening right now. And then now, coming back into the story of Moises Caicedo. So now, Fabrizio Romano, Melissa Reddy, they have actually come with a new update. They've said that Liverpool have actually agreed a deal for Moises Caicedo. So now that's the whole uh, big shock that's been happening right now. So now what Melissa Reddy has said that Liverpool's British transfer record bid for Moises Caicedo is actually 111 million, with Brighton having a sell-on clause. So she just uploaded this about 8 minutes ago, um, and then like about an hour ago, then she has tweeted that Liverpool have agreed a British record transfer fee of 110 million with Brighton for Moises Caicedo, reached ahead of midnight after ousting Chelsea's 100 million bid. Formalities of the transfer window have now gone into motion. So now this is the whole update, and I've actually gone into scroll down through Instagram and Twitter, and I've seen that Jurgen Klopp has already um, scheduled a meeting with Moises Caicedo before a conference which is scheduled later on in the afternoon UK time. So I think he'll be discussing with Moises Caicedo in terms of the whole project moving forward, and how does he see Moises Caicedo as a model who is befitting of a proper DM to replace Fabinho's uh, departure to the Saudi league. So a lot of craziness, a lot of madness is going on. Tons of questions have been asked for about Romeo Lavia's valuation, Moises Caicedo's valuation. But if you really ask me, compared to Moises Caicedo or Romeo Lavia, if you really ask me, I would go for Moises Caicedo, because just purely because of experience. And looking at the valuation, yes, we would never pay more than 50 million for uh, a player like Moises Caicedo. But I think looking at the whole fluctuation of the transfer market, the whole craziness that is happening right now, I think it's fair to say that Liverpool have to, if needs must, if you have to put in another 50 million, 60 million to get Moises Caicedo or proper DM, you should just might as well hell go for it. Why are you uh, playing around? Because as a transfer committee for Liverpool, if Liverpool are doing business in the transfer market, all you would expect is Liverpool to not be bullied by other clubs. Surely you can bully another club, bully the club. I'm all for it. If you want to bully the club in order to get the player that you want, all hell go for it. You can all hell can break loose. Go out for it, but don't make them bully you back, because you are trying to get the best valuation possible with the current transfer market, and you're trying to get a good proven Premier League player. So if you look at the current transfer market right now, there are not a lot of proven DMs around in the Premier League or anywhere in Europe. It's very hard to come by. Not everyone not everyone can get a player like Fabinho or Rodri, from Manchester City. Players like that are very hard to come by. Okay, guys, with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Do like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube page. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Hope as a Liverpool fan, you guys are satisfied that Liverpool have finally made another transfer, which is Moises Caicedo to Liverpool FC. Good signing, much needed. Uh, Definitely very late in the transfer window because we are facing Chelsea away. High chances for him to be playing for us in the first team against Chelsea. A lot of things to look forward to, a lot of intriguing questions to be asked, but let's look forward to it. The future is still bright, the rebuild has begun. Um, so let's see what happens. So signing off, it's me, your host Poovan. Thank you so much for watching your podcast and see you guys soon. Thank you. Take care.